Okay, I think this one. Well, it's still dark, but oh well. Okay, so I got Prodigy System number. It, and for proof, I can show you. It's right. Well, it's right there. Well, I can show you the name, but I can't show you the number. Hold on. See, process the middle number. Okay, to prove it to you, I can read you some of the text messages that we sent. Look ugly in this camera. But anyways, okay, it was. Oh, hold on, just a second. She just texted me. They say, okay. Okay. And how I got her number is because one of my friends, I best friends with her. She went to school with her, so yeah. And oh yeah, I'll read you some of the texts. Okay, let's start from the beginning. Okay. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Well, we even take some more guys so far. Okay. Oh my gosh. How did I get all the way back down there? Oh, she just texted me again, that's why. Some of my messages, some of our messages is good, but I'll still read it to you, see? Just to prove to you that is, I'm texting Prodigy Sister, see? Pride Sister. And there goes some of the text messages. Okay, so I said, this is Kelsey, your friend Linda gave it to me. She said, oh, I said, yeah, so is this Prodigy Sister? She said, yes. And then I said, oh, okay, is your name TT? She said, yeah. I said, oh, okay, so what you doing? She said, driving. I said, so you driving now? She said, yes. I know how to. I said, okay, is Proud driving? She said, he can. And I said, are you going to get him a car when he's 17? She said, no. And I said, oh, that's me. And then she said, he is too. And I said, well, I didn't say that. My friend would say to her half of the time. My friend said, I like it that way. And then she said, laugh my off. And then I said, how often do you see him? She said, whenever I want to see him. And then I said, how ain't they on tour and how old are you? She said, I'm 14 and yeah, I think they still on tour. I said, well, you the youngest. She said, nope, JoJo is. I said, oh, yeah, I forgot about him. She said, I said, my friends want to know if she can get your, well, I could just skip that. Blah. I said, my birthday this Saturday. She said, I said, can you tell Pride? She said, yeah, I will. I said, okay, thanks. She said, no. She said, no problem. And then I said, did they come to Philly already? She said, I think so. I don't know. I'm finna call him though. I said, okay. I said, can you tell me what he said? She says, alright, shawty. I'm like, what is L-I? She said, L-I. And then I said, what does L-I mean? She said, alright. I said, oh, okay. And then she said, he didn't answer. I said, oh, okay. Do you have Facebook? She said, yeah. She said, what's your name? I said, what is your name? She said, TT Lachey and TT private page. I said, okay. She said, yeah. She said, yeah, what you doing? I said, sorry I missed your call, I was asleep. And she said, hey. I said, hey. She said, hi. I said, what you doing? She said, at the doctor. I said, why? She said, I gotta get these 6 shots. Hold on 1 second, my cousin's calling me. Hello? Yeah, I was calling you to tell you that I was texting Prodigy's sister, and she said that they were in Atlanta, Georgia, and they was at didn't there a mall called Underground over there? Yeah, she said she's at the Underground Mall with the OMG girls. She said she's with Baha, Nikwa, Bree, and somebody named Deja something. So yeah, she's still there though. But yeah, no, the OMG girls live in Atlanta. Yeah, so she's just down there to visit or hang out with them or something. But yeah, I was texting her and stuff. And she called me, and then she called me at like 11 or something at nighttime, and I said, did you call me? She said, yeah. I said, why? She said, because my brother wanted to talk to you. I said, and then I got mad at myself. I was like, dang, dang, dang. I was like, man. So what you doing? Like, nothing. Have you been talking to Jamari? Oh, so you didn't break up with him yet?